Hey everybody, Chief here again with another video from OKest MTG, and I got an interesting one I think for you today. I'm going to talk about dragons. Yes, so I think most of you know I'm pretty open about my love for playing green and playing big stompy creatures, and dragons fits right into that mold. So quick story, I had a Miirym Sentinel Worm deck. And I think everybody knows this dragon. It's very well known, very powerful. You get a 6/6 flying Ward 2 dragon that whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you create a token that's a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. So, long story short, I played the Miirym deck. It was very powerful, very fun, won a lot of games, and ultimately I got tired of it because it just played the same way every time. You just ramp really hard, you cast Miirym, protect Miirym, and cast dragons, make copies, make token copies, and win the game. And it just played the same pretty much every time, and it got a little boring, but can't deny the power of Miirym. So a way I decided to kind of counter my boredom with dragons was to switch the commander and change the deck around. So I went back to my very first commander deck, and that was Vrondiss, Rage of Ancients. So for Vrondiss, you have a 3 green and a red for a legendary creature, Dragon Barbarian, who's a 5/4 with Enrage. And it says whenever Vrondiss, Rage of Ancients is dealt damage, you may create a 5/4 red and green Dragon Spirit creature token with, when this creature deals damage, sacrifice it. And he also says, this is key, whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you may have Vrondiss deal 1 damage to itself. Now Vrondiss to me was just more interesting because there's a lot more chaos involved. You're throwing damage around, you're rolling dice, you never know exactly how the deck's going to play out. So I altered the deck to fit Vrondiss's strengths and to play around with the dice rolling mechanic. And I'm going to go into exactly how I made the Vrondiss deck work. And it's still powerful, but not quite as powerful as Miirym, but I still like it better. So, let's get right into it. I think the first thing we need to talk about is how do you ramp in Vrondiss? Because dragons are expensive, so you're going to need a lot of ramp. For Vrondiss, I found some interesting ways to ramp, like Bucknard's Everfull Purse. For 2 colorless, you get an artifact with the ability pay 1, tap it, roll a d4, and create a number of treasure tokens equal to the result. And the player to your right gains control of Bucknard's Everfull Purse. This is kind of a fun, kind of chaotic card that everyone gets to try it out and roll dice and make treasure tokens. But for you, as the Vrondiss player, you just want to roll dice. Because every time you do with Vrondiss on board, you're going to get a 5/4 Dragon Spirit token. And that's awesome. Next up, we got Vexing Puzzle Box. For 3 colorless, you get an artifact that says whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you put a number of charge counters on Vexing Puzzle Box equal to the result. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, and you roll a d20. And you can tap it to remove 100 charge counters from Vexing Puzzle Box and search your library for an artifact card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle. So what's key here is you tap it for mana, and then you get to roll a d20, do a damage to Vrondiss, and make your 5/4. So this is right with our game plan, right where we want to be, and it's just a good mana rock. Next, Component Pouch. Love this one. This actually came in the Vrondiss Precon, and I think it's one of the best cards in the deck. You can tap it to remove a component counter from Component Pouch and add 2 mana of different colors. But I think more importantly, you tap it, you can roll d20, and depending on the result, you either put 1 or 2 Component Pouch counters on the Component Pouch. So every time we're rolling a dice, we'll do a damage to Vrondiss, and we'll make a 5/4 Dragon Spirit. Luck Bobblehead, similar, mana rock, pay 1, roll a 6-sided dice. We don't really care about all that other text about how many bobbleheads you have, because this is the only one in the deck, but we're rolling dice, we're making Dragon Spirits. Dragonstorm Globe. This is a little more of your traditional mana rock. Each dragon you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it, and it taps to add a mana of any color. Now, key thing here is all those 5/4s are going to enter as 6/5s. That's a lot of power on board. Next, Druid of the Emerald Grove. 3 and a green, you get a 2/2 creature, but most importantly, when it enters, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, then roll d20. Depending on the result, you get to put those cards into your hand, put one on the battlefield, tapped, and the other into your hand, or if you roll a nat 20, if you're that good, put both of those cards onto the battlefield, tapped, and then shuffle. So again, we're rolling dice, we're making dragon spirits, right on theme. Vrondiss, just one of the best mana dorks in the game. You can tap to add a green, or if you have a creature with power 4 or greater, you get to add 4 green, and you can eternalize it if it dies and bring it back. It's phenomenal. Goblin Archromancer. For a red and a green, you get a Goblin 2/2. Says each spell you cast is red or green costs 1 less to cast. Not really anything to do with dice rolling, just a really good mana dork. Jade Orb of Dragonkind. This one has come in clutch several times because you can cast a dragon with this, and that dragon enters with an additional 1/1 counter and hexproof until your next turn. So really helps out a lot to protect those big dragons. Journey to the Lost City, 3 and a green, you get an enchantment. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 4 cards of your library, then roll d20. Depending on what you roll, you can either 1 through 9 get a land card from among those onto the battlefield, which is actually probably the best thing. 10 through 19, you get a 2/2 wolf creature token, and put a 1/1 counter on it for each creature card among the cards that you exiled. Honestly, that's not even as good as the land. And an at 20, put all permanent cards exiled with the journey onto the battlefield, then sacrifice it. So honestly, here you want to roll low just to get extra lands in, and we're rolling dice, making dragon spirits. Right on. Semblance Anvil, just a great card. When it enters, you imprint or exile one of your non-land cards from your hand, and spells that you cast that share a card type with the exile card cost 2 less to cast. So this is great. You can exile a creature, and your creatures cost 2 less to cast. Urza's Incubator enters, choose dragons. All dragons cost 2 less to cast. Yes, it's symmetrical, but this is just a great way to get your dragons really cheap. And finally, what's the best way to ramp is just cheating out big creatures with a monster manual. So that's pretty much the ramp that I have as far as the ramp package goes. Let's look at what we really want to do in this deck, and that's cast cool dragons. First up, we got Chaos Dragon for 1 and 2 red. You got a 4/4 with flying and haste, who attacks each combat if able. But the really fun part, at the beginning of combat on your turn, each player rolls a d20. If one or more opponents had the highest result, Chaos Dragon cannot attack those players or planeswalkers that control this combat. So what's the key takeaway? As always, we get to roll more dice, make more 5/4s, and you got a big 4/4 flying beater. Kind of creates a fun little mini game for the table as well. Ganax Astral Hunter. When Ganax or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a treasure token. Notice it does not say non-token, so all those tokens are going to make us treasures. Bonehorde Drakasar. I think this guy is one of the best creatures you could play in any red deck. Notice he's a dinosaur and a dragon, so he works for both types of creature typal decks. 5/5, flying first strike. He's got so much text. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exiled a land card this way, make a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. If you exiled a non-land card this way, make a treasure token. So he's doing so much for you. He's a big first strike flying 5/5 beater who makes 3/1 dinosaur creature tokens, and he makes you treasures, and he gives you some card selection, some card advantage. Just a phenomenal creature. Love this guy. Canopy Gargantuan. Very cool dragon. Yes, he's 7 mana, but he's a 7/7 with flying of more than 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put a number of 1/1 counters on each other creature you control equal to that creature's toughness. That's going to spiral out of control quick. You honestly need just one turn around the table, and then your board is going to be huge. Next up, we got Old Gnawbone. And I barely have to introduce this guy. Everybody knows how awesome Old Gnawbone is. With a 7/7 flying, who says whenever a creature you control does combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. You're going to get so much treasure off this guy, it's insane. Clouth, Unrivaled Ancient. 4/4 flying haste. Whenever he attacks, add X mana in any combination of colors where X is the total power of attacking creatures. Spend this mana only to cast spells, and until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases in. So, on combat, you swing with Clouth and however many other creatures you want. Say you got 2 other 5/4 Dragon Spirits. Right there, you're already going to get 14 mana that you can use on your second main phase. It's awesome. And not technically a dragon, but it enters. You can choose dragon, so then it will be one, a roaming throne. It is a dragon, in addition to its other types, and it doubles the triggers of all your dragons, which is a lot. So instead of getting 1 5/4 Dragon Spirit with Vrondiss, you get 2. With Ganax, instead of 1 treasure, you get 2. It spirals. Scourge of Valkus, this is a great one. So you get a Scourge of Valkus, 4/4 flyer, for 5 mana. When it or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of dragons you control. Notice it doesn't say anything about non-tokens, so every time one of those dragon spirits enters, you get to do some burn damage. And it has fire breathing, it's just a nice bonus. Next we got Wrathful Red Dragon. So you get a 5/5 flyer who says whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. So I'll be honest, with Vrondiss there's some ways you can do some crazy burn combos with this guy. He's great. Tear the Peaks, this guy's awesome. Spells your opponents cast that target Tear the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. So kind of ward 3, pay 3 life. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Tear the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So every time a 5/4 enters, you get to do 5 damage wherever you want.
Music
Awesome.
licensing reimagined.
Utvara Hellkite. Yeah, he's expensive, I know, but so awesome. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, make a 6/6 red dragon flying creature token with flying. So cool. Those are just some of the awesome dragons in the deck. There's way more, but these were my favorites. So let's take a look at some of the enablers and payoffs that we have in the deck, because we need more than just dragons. We've got to draw cards. So we got Elemental Bond for 3 mana. Whenever a creature with power 3 or greater enters under your control, draw a card. We're going to make a lot of Dragon Spirits, and we're just going to keep drawing cards off of those. Next up, so these are the 5/4 Dragon Spirit tokens. They say whenever a creature deals damage, whenever this creature deals damage, you have to sacrifice it. So we might as well capitalize on that with a Greater Good. If we're going to have to sacrifice those creatures, instead sack them to Greater Good, draw 3 cards equal to the sack creature's power, then discard 3 cards. So Greater Good is just a really awesome card regardless, because if someone tries to board wipe, you can just draw a ton of cards. Yes, you have to discard 3 cards, but that's just getting you so deep in your deck. You're going to select so many good ones. It's awesome. Also, Darksteel Plate and alternately Mithril Coat. These are strictly for Vrondiss. They make him indestructible, so every time we get some burn damage, we can throw it on Vrondiss. We can make more Dragon Spirits. Mithril Coat's great because that's flash and it auto-equips to Vrondiss. These are a key piece to really making the deck hum. Next up, Collective Inferno for 3 and 2 red. However, it does have Convoke, so it could be way easier to cast. As it enters, choose a creature type. Double all damage that sources you control of the chosen type would deal. So for all that burn damage that we have, we can double it. Instead of 5, be 10. It can get out of hand fast. Next, Dragon Tempest. Whenever a creature with flying enters under your control, it gains haste. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of dragons you control. So this can be a lot. This can really spiral out of control. Really great card. And I don't run a lot of interaction in the deck, but you never want to find yourself without the ability to at least have one card to get rid of a pesky artifact or enchantment, or in this case, both. Hull Breach is great for a red and a green. Choose a target artifact and destroy it, or destroy a target enchantment, or destroy one of each. Great card. Next, Rile. I love weird cards like this that are very niche to the commander. Rile for 1 red. It deals 1 damage to a target creature you control. That creature gains trample until end of turn and draw a card. But I see this as 1 red mana, make a 5/4 Dragon Spirit. Pretty great. Parallel Lives. This is also a key piece. Get this, make Vrondiss indestructible, make 2 Dragon Spirit tokens. When you have your burn enablers, you burn Vrondiss, he's indestructible. You use the other one, you burn the opponents, it can just go infinite with burn damage. It's awesome. And finally, Kindred Summons. This is just a fun card, fun payoff. Choose a creature type, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards of the chosen type, where X is the number of creatures you control of that type. Put those cards on the battlefield, then shelf the rest of the reveal cards into your library. So say we have 5 or 6 Dragon Spirits plus Vrondiss, that's 7. We get to reveal at the top until we find 7 more dragons and just put them into play, get all their ETB abilities, all those triggers. Just pretty much a game ender, honestly. And that's pretty much it for the Vrondiss deck. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I really think it was important to me to make sure that the deck I'm playing is something that I enjoy, that is always going to be fun for me. While Miirym is very powerful and was still fun, I do think that Vrondiss is the right dragon commander for me, because it's always different. Each game's going to play out differently, and you're going to make interesting stories and experiences in your commander games. So, hope you like it, and with that said, I think that's all we got for this video. And until next time, I hope that you all will have a great day. Take it easy.